Welcome back to the O Show, everything crypto every single day. We are going to talk about some bullish news for XRP, for Ripple, for Tron, BNB, and a few other things that we should probably cover that we missed this weekend because, again, there was a lot going on this weekend. It seems to be some of the most exciting crypto news happens over the weekend, which is why I tried to create content for you guys 7 days a week, 24/7, 365. So let's go ahead and get into it. And also, too, the markets are looking pretty green. They're looking pretty green. Things are looking wonderful. Everybody's excited. But first, we got to give a big shout out to our channel members because I support those who support me. If you want to become a YouTube channel member, it is like, what is it? It's like $3 or $4 a month. And it just supports me, supports the channel, all that fun stuff. So a big good morning and happy Manic Monday to Mr. John Germain, Mr. R, gorgeous Julie, Mr. D, and also to, I already had my chicken bone broth this morning because I started to get a little bit hungry. We do have a poll at the top here. Is XRP a long-term or short-term play for you? I want to know if it's a long-term, short-term, or neither. I do my best to read the comments because it helps me gauge market sentiment. If I'm able to gauge market sentiment, then I can create content that you guys want to see. Also, too, good morning to Mr. Sparkwater. And then from Rumble, we've got BMO. Naked Chart Gang, exactly. So we're going to go ahead and get this kicked off. Plus, we've got to log into TikTok, see what my babes are doing over there. We've got about 17 of you over here so far, but let's go ahead and see. I know TikTok's been a little bit slow lately. It's been a little bit slow, but that's okay. We've got to get the likes up, got to get more people in here, but let's go ahead and get into it because shout out to JP from Twitch because we got some stuff going on and you guys need to know. Before we get into the exciting news with XRP and Ripple and your guys' favorite coin, all of that, let's take a look at the weekly. Okay, so looks like on the weekly, Pi is down, Hex is down, Jasmy is down, and everything else is up, which is pretty nice. But again, Hex was leading last week, and Pi was leading for quite some time. Again, with Pi, I don't know if they made any updates to their platform or whatnot, but basically, I don't think it's available for US users, which sucks. But again, someone please fact check me. I'm taking a look at the daily. Avalanche is up, Barra is up, Rendir is up. Shout out to Floki. Floki is up. Floki is up. What else? Jasmy, I know it's a TikTok favorite over there. Solana, Sui, Pole, all kinds of stuff. Now let's go ahead and get into some of the news this morning, and then we will segue back into charts. Good morning, Mr. Gamer. Hope you're doing well. I'm Gamer. First, I got to give a message to Gamer. I'm taking low to see Blackpink in LA. So if you get tickets, let us know. I'll tell you what seats we have. I spent a lot of money on them. It's for her birthday gift, though. It's for her birthday gift. But okay. Anyways, let's go ahead and get into the news. Let's get into this. My kid is a massive Blackpink fan. That's why when we got this beautiful dog, shout out to the dog community on Bitcoin. She named the little girl Lisa. She says little girl and her name's Lisa. So shout out to dog. All right. Let's get into the news about Ripple. Okay, guys. So when the hee-haw is going on with Ripple, because we've got 3 top stories. So Mt. Gox founder bets $1 billion that he can replace the International Space Station. So Ripple and Mt. Gox co-founder, which is interesting, is Jed McCallan. He's using $3.2 billion crypto fortune to fund Vast Space. This is a company building artificial gravity space stations. McCaleb says he's fully prepared to lose $1 billion of his own money. It claims it aims to replace the International Space Station, which is set for decommissioning in 2030. McCaleb joins Elon Musk, Bezos, and Richard Branson in advancing private sector space exploration. I want to say that Jeb, is he still he's over at the company, yeah? Yeah? Is he still over at Ripple? Yeah? Come on, guys, tell me. This is a big move. This is a big, bold vision led by Jed McCaleb. Ripple co-founder, executive chairman Chris Larsen wrote on X, America used to pursue new frontiers like this before skidding into bureaucracy and doubt. I'm rooting for vast success. It's funny that Larsen said that because didn't Larsen donate $10 million to Harris? Didn't that happen? And again, no shame because they were hedging their bets, but at the same time, you know. No, McCaleb went to Stellar. So this is exciting for Stellar. This is actually positive. This is actually positive marketing for Stellar XLM. Hold on a second. Shout out to Protofem, Shib dog shaking his booty from left to right, surrounded by red hearts. Yes. Yeah. All right, let's get back into it. So this is exciting. I mean, it's not like he's with Ripple anymore, but he's still affiliated with it. So it is positive news mainstream for Ripple and XLM. So if you're holding either of those, congratulations to you. Next story we've got over here. Next story from Cointelegraph. Come on, baby. Oh, yeah, baby. This is from Cointelegraph. They said, in sight, Ripple's RLUSD stablecoin is gaining traction with a 160 million supply and growing number of Ethereum addresses is holding the token. So this is actually bullish for Ethereum and RLUSD, Ripple in general, because again, RUSD is like this big thing, you know? Now, with that being said, RLUSD is a stable coin, Ripple stablecoin, and it is built so far on Ethereum and XRPL. So they're going to try to directly compete with Tether and with Circle. So it's going to be interesting to see how they progress, in my personal opinion. It's going to see who's the winner of the thing. Anyways, let's get back into it. There's more news. This is all exciting stuff. And I know you guys are like, we need to see a pump. We need to see a pump now. But we got to wait. Got to be patient. And we're also going to talk about the economy a little bit because, again, that does impact the crypto markets. Now, taking a look at this story from Crypto Briefing, Ripple urges SEC to stick to statutes and leave new crypto rules to Congress. So remember, there was a crypto roundtable last week, which we'll talk about that in a little bit. But the Crypto Task Force is actively soliciting feedback from stakeholders to address regulatory challenges in the crypto space. Key takeaways here is that Ripple argues the SEC should focus on existing statutes and defer new crypto regulations to Congress. Ripple criticizes the previous SEC administrator's application of the Howey test and distorted complex. So I want to talk about this a little bit, okay? I want to talk about this because Ripple is calling for the SEC essentially to stay out of it. And I don't know if I agree or not. Oh, it didn't, John? Thank you for letting me know. Yeah, I don't know what's going on. I don't know what's going on. Sometimes it does. Maybe that's why there's not a lot of people in, because maybe no one got the live thingamabobber. Who knows? All right, let's go and talk about it. So should the SEC govern crypto? I don't think the SEC should govern crypto. I think that we should have a new agency that focuses on crypto, and it should be members from the CFTC, members from the SEC, and it should be like essentially like the Crypto Task Force. But I want to see crypto attorneys. I want to see builders. I want to see OGs in the space, people that have experience, people that are able to make positive change, that come up with things that make sense. But you got to have the attorneys. You got to have the attorneys because they know law stuff. In addition to that, there needs to be advocating for retail, because there's not a whole lot of that. I don't see Ripple doing it. I don't see Coinbase doing it. I don't see Kraken doing it. I don't see anybody doing it. I don't. That's not good. Not good any way, shape, or form. Because the accredited investor law is probably the most predatory thing ever to keep people in poverty. Because again, they make you take this test. It's a really complicated test. And it's like all the serious tests. You're not going to use any of that stuff. You basically just need to prove that you are intelligent enough to understand risk. Because if you can understand risk when you're gambling, you can understand risk when you are playing with crypto. Pretty kind of simple stuff. But yeah, we do need to have crypto natives at a seat at the table. And shout out to Julie for saying that. But the issue with that is a lot of them are ivory towers. They're accredited investors. They're people like Michael Saylor. They're people like that have access to a lot of money and wealth. And again, I don't have an issue with rich people. Like the whole, we should just tax the rich. We shouldn't tax any, like the whole, we're going to tax people that make over $150,000 per year. I think that's ridiculous. I think it's absurd. And I know a lot of people are like, oh, well, we should just tax billionaires and blah, blah, blah. No, I think that everybody should pay their fair share. They should. There should be a flat tax. And I'll tell you why I think that. Well, yes, I did grow up incredibly poor. And I actually paid less taxes when I was poor than what I pay now, because I'm very blessed with everything that I have. But at the same time, poor people don't have to pay a lot of taxes, but it hits them a little bit harder because they make less. So I understand that. But at the same time, I think that everybody should have to pay the same, a flat fee in taxes. And that's that. And it should be tracked, and we should know exactly where it goes. Because at the same time, what you're going to do is you're going to encourage people not to work as hard as or not to reach their true potential. And I know some people might be mad. They might be like, oh my God, that's horrible, blah, 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 blah. But let's face it, $150,000 a year in America is not a lot of money, especially if you live in a place like California or anywhere else. Okay. Now, with that being said, it's easier to just stay in the system, to stay on welfare, stay on the Section 8, stay on the food stamps and all that stuff, and live under a certain level. So you qualify for that because essentially you make more money that way. Oh, there's 250 watching on Rumble. Woo! Awesome. That's more than YouTube. It's almost as much as YouTube. And I know some people don't like that, but again, if you're able to work the system, you would essentially make more money than somebody who's paying taxes. And I don't think that's right. I don't think we should have systems like that. I think that everybody should pay their fair share. They should pay 10%, 5%, or whatever it is. Everything should be public and transparent. We should know exactly where the money's going. And in addition to that, if people want to donate to their favorite community center or nonprofit or whatever it is, great, fine, fantastic. And the same with corporations and businesses, like maybe a small business that owns under a certain, I'll do a fit check in a little bit that at the end, so you guys stick around. But if there is, with businesses, that might be a little bit different. And that's okay. But again, it's a really complex thing. And what I'm talking about, the ivory towers, I think everybody should get equal access to acquire as much wealth as legally as possible. And the way you do that is removing the accredited investor law. Make people take a test. But again, we don't have a lot of regular people that are advocating for. We only have ivory towers in crypto that are advocating for themselves. And that's fine. That's their business. But at the end of the day, that's not what crypto and Bitcoin is about. So with that being said, should the SEC still govern crypto? No, there should be a brand new entity. Just in case we get unelected bureaucrats back like Mr. Gensler. Now, we're going to take a look at Bitcoin and the rest of the stuff, the charts, and that's fine. But, we've got a lot of Bitcoin stories coming up and some other things too. So you guys need to stick around that. But the crypto markets look wonderful right now. They do. So let's go ahead and take a look at what's happening. And we also have a potential, and then guys, if you are in the chat, make sure to smash a like and drop me a comment, all that type of stuff. I am going through the chat as best that I can. For some reason, TikTok, your comments are not coming up. I don't know why. Your comments are not coming up. I don't know why. Like, I can't see anything that you guys are saying. It's weird. I don't know. I'm going to have to check and see there's an issue there. I'll do that a little bit later. But if you guys want to comment in the chat for TikTok, because I can't see y'all. Maybe I got to do something with the live studio. We don't know. We're just here. But let's go ahead and get back into it. Smash the like, smash the like, smash the like. All right. Okay. Now, let's get into... Okay. Thank you, Kenny. Kenny said they're sticking. He's on... I'm replying to everyone. Thank you, Kenny. You don't have to reply to everyone. Just, sorry, guys, I can't. The comments are glitching, and it did that the other day, too, so I'll have to look into it. But Kenny, I appreciate it. Kenny is our mod over on TikTok. He's a good friend of mine. Awesome gentleman over there. Now, let's cut into the charts. Also, if you guys want to trade with me, I'm on Femex, and I believe you get $50 discount. Or you get $50 if you just sign up. I think so. And then I'm on crypto.com. Not your keys, not your coins. No need to use high leverage. And read the terms of service. Sorry. I got a pack for this weekend. I'm going out of town this weekend, and I'm excited. It's not a work thing for me, which is wonderful. So happy. So hopefully I'll be able to do some thrifting, some boot scooting. All right. So this is what we're seeing. Wow. We got the bullish close that I talked about yesterday. Oh no, my computer. I says I wanted to see a close above 85,000. We got that on the weekly. We closed above 85,000. Now we're retesting 87,000, currently trading at 88, which is bullish. It's good. It's exciting, because then it's looking like we're ready to get back up into this level where we were consolidating really kind of above $90,000. That's an important area of resistance. So hopefully we close today above 87, and then we can retest about $90,000. And we're going to talk about what Arthur Hayes said. We're going to talk about what Arthur Hayes said in a little bit. So stick around for that. It's going to be exciting. So as far as Bitcoin goes, we're moving upward. Things are looking nice. I do want to see a close above 80, of 87. Now Ethereum, what's going on with Ethereum? Ethereum is also trying to break resistance too and trade above $2,000. If we get a close for Bitcoin above, 87, we should see that close above 2,000 with Ethereum. That's bullish. That's exciting. Solana's doing nice too. We had a really, really nice move with Solana. Yesterday was a little bit tiring, but today we got a nice push up above 137, hit 146, and we're currently trading at 142. So things are looking really nice. Taking a look at XRP. XRP held on to support at $2.40, or excuse me, closed above it, and now we're on our way up. We'll probably target about 261 and see. And then we've got the other areas, which I'll draw. So we'll got to do those purple so you guys can see. A purple, and here are green. I'm sorry, I'm colorblind. So XRP is looking great too. So all of you that are like, oh, XRP is not moving. This is bullish. This is exciting. Like, I don't understand. I don't know. Now I want to take a look at Link because I want to buy more. Or actually, we'll take a look at Cardano. It's been a while. Cardano is actually moving a little bit slower than everybody else, but at the same time, she's slow and steady. We're kind of consolidating between about 69 cents and about 76 cents. So it's looking like we're probably going to retest 76 cents. And once we break above it, then 81 cents over here. As far as AAVE is up at 192. Darn it, I should have bought over here. Darn it. I didn't, and that's okay. I'm going to be patient. But it's looking like we're getting ready to clear $200, which is fantastic. I love it. So the market's looking good. I know that these are not crazy big gains, but you guys, this is great. Great stuff. Link is doing good too. So I'm excited. You should be excited too. Now let's go ahead and take a look at some of the stories regarding Bitcoin and other crypto. This comes from Mr. Michael Saylor. And drop me a comment if you guys are on YouTube. For some reason, it's like being weird. I don't know what's going on. I don't know. Smash the like, all those things. I don't know. Maybe it's my computer. We don't know. All right. Now let's go ahead and take a look at what's going on over here. So MicroStrategy from Michael Saylor. Strategy, aka MicroStrategy, acquired 6,911 Bitcoin for $584 million at 84,529 per Bitcoin and has achieved Bitcoin yield of 7.7 year to date. And as of 3/23/2025, Strategy holds 506,137 Bitcoin acquired for $33.7 billion at 66,608 per Bitcoin. Again, this is why it is so important to dollar cost average and things you have conviction in. This is Mr. Peter Schiff, though. Okay, so now they own a little bit more than 2% of the supply of Bitcoin. And it gets a little bit scary because, again, MicroStrategy is a company, so they're buying it to put on their books, and they're taking out debt to do that. They're doing collateralized loans, and they're creating brand new traditional financial products. And Peter Schiff says the only way Bitcoin won't collapse is if Master keeps buying indefinitely. But at some point, you will not be able to sell anymore Master stock or borrow money to keep buying. Then both Bitcoin and Master will crash, sending Master into bankruptcy. Is he wrong? I don't think he's wrong. And that's the thing. We're talking about companies, ivory towers, people that are given special privileges because they have access to wealth or a special company status, but they are essentially taking advantage, which is, again, they can grift within the constraints of the law. They can legally, hey, Secret Juice, they can create traditional financial products, sell it, raise money, and then buy Bitcoin, a finite asset. And the U.S. government can print money. These governments can print money and then buy more Bitcoin, a finite asset. If that doesn't sound like a Ponzi to you, I don't know what else does. So I don't know. That's a little bit concerning here. A little bit concerning over here. But, that's life. You got to get on the grift, baby. Get on the grift. Now, let's talk about Mr. Arthur Hayes. He says, I bet Bitcoin hits 110,000 before retesting 76.5. Why? The Fed is going from quantitative tightening to quantitative easing for treasuries, and tariffs don't matter because transitory inflation. Jay Powell told me so, and he's not wrong here. He's 100% right. I'm glad that he's saying this too. So so people don't think I'm an idiot. I'll expound on that in my next essay. That's a TLDR for your TikTok peanut brains, which I love it. My grammar was a bit off. What I mean is that the price is more likely to hit 110,000 than 76,000 next week. If we hit 110, then it's Yahtzee, and we ain't looking back until 250,000. So he is talking about in this over here, he's talking that we will hit 110,000 and then 250,000, and then we'll get the crash. That's what he's talking about. Or initially, Shift is smarter. Thank you, Secret Juice. Shift is smarter than Saylor. I don't think so. They're both ivory towers. They're both grifters. It's not a bad thing. It is what it is. So, yeah. So first, Arthur Hayes, from what I understood, said that we would, we're probably going to hit 110, then 76. And then the second thing he reanalyzed. And again, I think that 76 was essentially like the local bottom, which is fine. I was still hoping for 70 to 75,000 so I could buy more. But again, we never know. We could hit 110. we could hit 110 and then drop back down. Let's see let's see what correction that would be. Just out of curiosity. Again, I'm not calling for any of this stuff. I don't make bearish calls anymore because people get so mad. Yeah, that would be 76,000 would be a 30% drop, so that would make sense. Or we would see 250. I don't know if we're going to see 250,000 this cycle. It seems kind of a lot, but again, I won't be mad. I will not be mad. I will not be mad. Take a look at the weekly. Okay, let's go ahead and pull this little baby up here. That would be a 186% pump from current price. Totally could happen. Either scenario is a possibility, and I'm okay with either. You want to know why I'm okay with either? I'm going to tell you why. I'm going to come here. Tell you why I'm okay with this. Why am I okay with price dumping or pumping? If price dumps, I could buy more. If price pumps, I make money. Why would I be making money? Well, because when I invest or when I trade, I understand I have to put disposable income in. With that being said, I am here to make as much money as legally, but of course, ethically as possible. Ethically and legally as possible. And so are you guys. So with that being said, I de-risk a lot. And exactly, CryptoWendyO, the cycle is not like others. It's not. But I de-risk a lot. Why do I de-risk a lot? Because I don't want to get caught holding the bag. You know how many dead bags I have from 2020, 2021? You know how many projects we invest, like pre-sales and crap we invest in that's worth literally nothing? So guess what? I don't want to get caught holding the bag. And again, I'm not dumping on the market. I don't think dumping on the market is absolutely horrible. There's an ethical way to sell. You sell into liquidity, and you can do little sells and you can take profit. And that's okay. But I take profit. I have moon bags. Do I make as much money as other people? Maybe. I don't know. Maybe not. But guess what? I feel a lot better. And it's all about your comfort zone. It's all about your comfort level. It's all about how, it's about your, what your goals are. And that's why when people say, Wendy, what's a moon bag? How do I take profit, etc. I explain what I do. It doesn't matter if you have one tron or one link or one HBAR or one this or one that. The fact is you de-risked, and that's important. So if the project goes to zero, who cares? But again, profit taking is important. And I think the thing that people don't understand when I say profit taking is like they're like, why are you taking profit at the bottom? No, I'm not. I'm scaling out the entire time. That's what a lot of people don't understand. I've got trading and investing plans. I try to push that on to you guys so you guys can come up with your own plans. With that being said, yeah, should be taking profit on the way up. All right, more stuff. So we got this. When the he has this. Okay, that was Mr. Arthur Hayes. So, it was a good tweet. It was a good post. Now let's talk about China. How big this is if this happens. Because again, China used to bans Bitcoin, unbans it, crypto, etc. And this is from my friends over at Altcoin Daily, my buddies. Okay.
At the moment, a sign that trading and crypto could return to the mainland, which of course would be a huge boost for the market.
That's an interesting question. Hong Kong is always the gateway to the Chinese mainland market, and Hong Kong is always used as the lab for experiments, either in economies or in new industries or new sectors. From what we run regular exchange, regular funds in Hong Kong. From our conversations with the regulators, I think in a way they are trying their best to use the one country, two systems as an experiment. If it's successful, I think there is the possibility the mainland China government will reconsider their stance towards the crypto and Web3.
So basically they're saying if there's success in Hong Kong with crypto and Bitcoin, that the mainland of China will reconsider. Now, China does have the digital yuan, and China, the way their country operates and their lawmakers or public servants is very, very different than American, quite a few other countries. And that's fine. That's their business. So there will still be heavy regulation. There's not going to be as much freedom as we would see in Dubai or maybe hopefully in America in the coming months. But again, this is incredibly important because China has a lot of money. And for quite some time, crypto's not banned there, but it's just kind of a gray area. But if it is completely open, then great. Fantastic.
Do you think that's inevitable? Do you think the mainland government will definitely bring crypto back, or it's still a wait and see?
For a government to have a clear message, it takes time. From what I know so far, our conversations with the mainland professionals and related sources, I think they are now looking at the market and see what's going on in other countries, what's happening in Web3 industries, and then they may come up with their response.
So the interesting thing about this also is that also, you guys make sure to smash the like. The interesting thing about this is we just met with a UAE top official, and they're giving us, I think, $1.4 trillion for regulatory framework in the US. So China probably saw that and they're like, hey, we want a piece of this too. Because again, it's all about the money. My things flinched, but it's all about the money. China doesn't want to get left out. China is like really, when it comes to innovation, China is one of those places that's innovating like crazy. So they don't want to get left behind, especially if it's bull. And again, this probably wouldn't have happened if we didn't have this administration. So as time, and I understand a lot of you guys don't appreciate, and I don't want to say necessarily appreciate, but I don't want to say that that you don't appreciate it. But at the same time, the fact we have a pro crypto like everything, and other countries are essentially following suit, that's amazing. And these little stories here, these little titty bitties, these are so good because this just creates more bullish momentum for the future. That's exactly what we want to see. That's just my opinion over here. All right, now let's get into the next story because it's exciting stuff. Now this is from Mr. Squat, my buddy Scott. So this is a clip. My computer's being slow. I need to have someone come look at it. So this is a clip. I don't want that. I want this. This is a clip from the first ever SEC crypto roundtable. So let's go in and watch it. So shout out to Scott for pulling this up so that I can copy paste.
Centralization, we would probably all agree, I'm guessing, that Bitcoin is not a security, is not an investment.
Bitcoin is not a security. The reason why they're saying Bitcoin is not a security is because last week it was also announced that POW, proof of work coins, mineable coins, are not securities by the SEC, which is important. So put those on your radar to start researching.
Contract because it is sufficiently decentralized. There are no common enterprise. There's no others to point to.
Bitcoin is sufficiently decentralized, which as of right now, it still is. The fact that Michael Saylor owns 2% and that that governments are going to start accumulating like crazy with printed money, does that make it less decentralized? That's something that we're going to have to figure out.
See your expected profit, so of course that raises.
And it's not an investment contract because people are not expecting profit, even though we do know over time that number does go up because it is a finite asset. And that is the reason why is no one is shilling it to us or telling us to buy it, even though I think everybody should have at least $1,000 worth of Bitcoin, having more than Germany. But at the same time, it's a finite asset. So it works a little bit differently. Like gold, the value of gold continues to go up. That's something we all know. Silver, metals, those things like that, things that you cannot reproduce.
The question then is, can we draw a line where, something is sufficiently decentralized to no longer be considered an investment contract? And I just think that's an impossible line to draw. And I would point folks to the CFTC's report that came out in 2014, or 2024, I'm sorry, this report from the Technology Advisory Committee on DeFi. And the members of this committee that put together that report were mostly work in the crypto industry, including at DeFi firms. And they noted that decentralization exists along a spectrum across multiple dimensions. So you have governance, asset, user, application, data, network, protocol, hardware. So how do you determine when these dimensions are sufficiently decentralized enough to ensure profits don't come from the efforts of others?
And see, he's right. That's a hard one. It is very, 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 very hard to determine how something is. Anyways, it is very hard to determine how decentralized something is. And then when you're talking about profits, it's kind of just like gold. It's expecting the number to go up when it's a finite asset. Now, hearing him talk, though, did make me a little bit nervous because it's starting to give me a little bit of last 4-year vibes. And again, nothing against that. It's just, that's our livelihood. We want crypto to be legal here in America. But the issue is, you guys, is that I really do think that we should not leave any room open to have the previous mindset come back into crypto. And we need to, hold on, guys, this is bothering me. I want you to turn off. You're annoying. Thank you. Anyways, I think that I want to have a third party that I don't want CFTC or SEC to regulate crypto. I want to have a third party do it. I do. All right. that's just my opinion with the matter. Okay. All right. And this is Mr. Renners, and he's lecturing a fellow at the Duke Financial Economy. I thought this was... No, that don't make sense. Oh, well, that's okay. Somebody said it. He's educating someone. Don't matter. It's all the same crap. Anyways, next. This is from Miss Ellie. Some notable statements from panelists, and this was at the Crypto Roundtable. Or wait, hold on. I'm going to read it to you. Some notable statements from panels just now. Howey was never intended to regulate entire industry nor technology, says Baker Hostler lawyer Teresa Goody. John Reek Stark mentioned the wholesome demolition of crypto enforcement at the SEC and said the securities laws are a total gray area. If your idea is, hey, want to make these laws clear, it's just not going to happen in any area. But I appreciate the nobility of the goal, Reed Stark says. So this was on May 23rd, and May 21st, which was Friday. And this is at the crypto roundhouse thing at the SEC. So she said a couple of references, some subtler than others, to the SEC versus Ripple case and the TOR's ruling. And she also says, if you told me 10 years ago, I'd be glued to my phone watching a bunch of securities lawyers educate the government about how to regulate technology code on Friday afternoon, you'd have to say we're crazy. Yet here we are, which again is amazing. Because I've been in crypto since 2017, and never did I think that we would have such an open forum to discuss all this stuff, which is absolutely amazing. Like, I love it. Love it, love it, love it. So we're going to have a lot more than these. And it's going to get really exciting. Things are going to get exciting. It's going to get fun. Shout out to Miguel. It's your first time here on YouTube. Make sure you come back. Make sure y'all come back. It's fun over here. We just kind of chill. And we just do stuff. We talk about stuff. But so that's pretty interesting, pretty exciting stuff. And again, there'll be more exciting news, but I don't think like securities laws get a little bit hectic, especially when you're talking about brand new technology, because they weren't created at the same time this stuff came out. Now, this is from Solana Floor. I don't know how accurate this is. But apparently, digital asset investment products saw a turnaround last week, breaking 5-week outflow streak with 644 million in inflows. Solana recorded 6.4 million in inflows, with Ethereum faced 86 million in outflows. However, I think but this is the thing that makes it a little bit different. Solana's inflows, the ETF, the futures ETF, it just launched like last week. So again, this is from CoinShares. And so Ethereum is down quite a bit, which we kind of knew was happening. Then these are futures. So there's that. But again, Solana's just launched and Ethereum has been around for a while. And what makes difference in that too is the firms that are taking profit or shelling, they're doing other things because they probably are. They've been in profit. Solana's just started. So of course there's gonna be more inflows. Now this is from Yano from Blockworks. Nice gentleman over here. He says, the timeline won't talk about it, but Tron red and yellow Binance have drastically overtaken Solana green and Ethereum blue recently. And this is a chart that he shared from Network REV. And it basically shows, it's from Blockwork Research, and it shows all the different chains over here. So again, people are very excited about BNB and Tron again. And, Justin Sun is marketing it like freaking crazy. Which is good, fine, exciting, fantastic. So good, we love it. But again, I would like to know if you guys are trading on Tron or BNB right now. That's what I would like to know. Now, this is from Mr. Charles over here, Mr. Charles H. My computer is like freaking glitching like crazy. I need to get this thing serviced, I think. Gotta clean it out, I guess. I don't know. There's all these things. Why is it just so slow? So he says Cardano with its real numbers equal ghost chain. The chains with fake numbers, VC darlings, mass adoptions, changing the word. So basically he's pissed because people are pissed at him because with Cardano and whatnot. And he's basically saying a lot of the other chains are not actually building, which again, let the big boys play. Let them go to head to toe. But basically, he said less than 500 people are responsible for up to 250 million in yearly profits and 3.2 trillion in artificial trading. Scammers are artificially inflate prices, lure retail, and then sell. He's not wrong. Telegram is widely used for coordinating scams. Researchers at University College London created Perseus, I believe, a tool that tracks scams, and they identified over 400 scammers and 750,000 scam messages promoting fake hype. The study warns that crypto remains unregulated and full of scams, urging stronger oversight. I don't think we need stronger oversight. I think people need to educate themselves a little bit more. That's my opinion. But it was an interesting take. Interesting take. There's a lot of bad things people say about VCs. Not all VCs are bad, but they all play a game. That same game can be found with meme coins. It just became a little bit more of a level playing field, but it's all the same crap. Now, let's go and talk to this. Crypto startups should be allowed to raise money with NFTs, says SEC's leadership. And this comes from Decrypt. So this is important because I do think that crypto can't, because let's face it, you can't go to your bank and get a loan for a small business. You can't even go to the SBA to do that. Like you gotta have money. I don't see an issue with there being a legal regulated way to raise money via crypto or NFTs. There should be. But it's interesting that they say that Xrp'S suggests NFTs could be used like fundraising. And again, this is not confirmed. It's not law yet. That's just conversation. Basically talking like stoner caps could be exempt from securities regulations, even though that was a massive F-up by Ashton Kutcher and Mila Kunis. But Pierce says NFTs may be the next asset category the SEC addresses with exemptive statement. NFTs, which offer perks, may not fall under securities laws. Pierce warns that not all NFTs will be exempt if structured as tokenized securities. So that makes sense. And again, it would be really, really, really nice. Oh, thank you so much, BMO. I appreciate it. It would be nice if there is a vessel for people, for average people to raise money for small businesses. Like there has to be some sort of framework here is what I'm saying. And there has to be a way that they could, a path to do this. I think would be really important. I think would be an absolute game changer. Like who doesn't want to be able to raise money for a business? Like if you say, hey, here's my business plan. This is what I'm going to raise money for. This is where the funds are going to go. And then you had like a person that made sure you were keeping promises and not just being a scammer. Why not? Like you want to have a taco truck or you want to open a laundromat or you want to be a stay-at-home mom. I don't know. What's going on with YouTube over here? Oh, it's just being cuckoo. All right, next story. U.S. SEC to seek exodus as hundreds take Trump's buyout offer, sources say. And again, Mr. Trump wants to get people to resign over at the government because a lot of them just don't do their job. There's a lot. And again, not all government workers, but there's quite a few government workers that are completely inefficient, that are just there for a paycheck. Over 600 employees, including senior staff and enforcement lawyers, have agreed to resign. The SEC's Division of Enforcement Office of General Counsel most affected. Staff offered incentives to resign or retire early to avoid forced layoffs. Mass resignations could weaken the SEC's ability to police financial markets. This is the thing. BMO, I'm gonna talk to you about NFTs. NFTs, they were really created. They're kind of like RWAs, but they were really created for artists to have ownership of something. It just, what ended up happening is there's just a bunch of scammers and a bunch of people with bad intentions that came and they did dumb stuff and they did generative art, which really isn't art, etc. So that's what happened. But if NFTs can be used the right way, we just haven't had anybody create that yet. Now, we're talking about people resigning at the SEC, that they're not going to have enough people to regulate the markets, etc. No, you just need to hire people that are good at their job. And then if you need more, hire more. But don't just have people here that aren't doing their job. That's the way that I'm seeing it. Now, this is from CoinDesk. Fidelity files for on-chain U.S. Treasury fund joining the asset tokenization race. Tokenized money market funds have grown sixfold in a year to $4.8 billion, currently led by BlackRock product. Interesting. Let's go ahead and read a little bit more about this. As I told you, follow what BlackRock does. Fidelity is launching a blockchain-based share of its class. Its Treasury market money market fund, FYHXX. SEC filing for on-chain shares. On-chain share class aim to use Ethereum for tracking fund shares with potential expansion to other chains. They will be competing with BlackRock's BUIDL, expected to launch on May 30th, pending regulatory approval. Tokenized U.S. Treasury market is booming, valued at $4.77 billion, and nearly 500% in a year. This is good for Ethereum. Very, very good for Ethereum. This is why I think Ethereum won't be worth the zero. And this is another interesting story. So I don't like the OpenAI people, but OpenAI CEO World Network eyes and it's funny they say partnership because that one scans your eyeball. Eyes partnership with Visa to integrate card features into self-custody crypto wallet. This could scare the absolute heck out of you. Then when we're talking to Visa for crypto wallet integration, CBDC, complete control of your finances, and that scares me. Partnership would enable fiat on and off ramps for stablecoin payments via Visa's merchant network. Tools for Humanity is working with Rain for card implementation. Rain is backed by Coinbase and Circle. USDC, Circle, CBDC. The goal is to turn the world wallet into a mini bank for account users. Comment your guys' thoughts. I don't think it's good. I think it's scary. I don't trust OpenAI people at all. Now let's talk about tariffs. White House scales back. April 2nd tariff plan focuses on targeted reciprocal levies. So now we're talking about levies. So I'm going to have to really get updated on that. But the White House plans to impose reciprocal tariffs, but may omit industry-specific levies. About 15% of nations with trade imbalances with the U.S. will face higher tariffs. Major trading partners impacted. Trump rejected calls for exemptions. He said that corporate America will end up liking them. Fortune 500 companies and lobbyists are seeking clarity on exemptions. White House is planning is still fluid. Trump hinted at possible flexibility later. So basically what he's doing is he is going to, things are moving forward. It's very flip-floppy. Basically, we're going to see how this impacts our economy. So April 2nd, I would prepare for volatility in the market. I don't think it's going to impact it too terribly bad because if the reciprocal tariffs wouldn't. But Mr. Powell, this is an interesting clip from Powell about the economy and stuff. So let's hear really quickly.
In our summary of economic projections, the median participant projects GDP to rise 1.7% this year, somewhat lower than projected in December, and to rise a bit below 2% over the next 2 years.
So basically they're saying that Fed now projects just 1.7% GDP growth this year. So this is a projection. And again, when we're talking about projections, these are people making things and pulling them out of their behind. That's exactly what it is. So is this good or bad? We don't know until time passes. So again, we have an unelected bureaucrat just interest rates, this inflation is transitory, and yes, we are in a recession. So there's that. It's just a bunch of it's that. Fed holds interest rates steady, still sees 2 cuts coming this year. So they might be cutting. We don't know. We're just here. But again, it's just a bunch of BS. And it sucks for people like regular people like you and I, because we don't really have a dog in the fight. We're just kind of watching all of this happen. So what should you do? I don't know. I'm holding my Bitcoin and, just kind of paying attention to things every day. But all of these stories that we covered today are incredibly bullish for the future. The stuff with Ripple happening, the stuff with Fidelity, the adoption of Bitcoin in America with China, etc. Things that are happening on Ethereum, even though Ethereum people are saying it's over. So just put all these things, take what you want, leave what you don't want. So fit check. We've got like a cropped shirt. We've got the pants from with the holes in the knees from the thrift store. This was like $3. These were like $6 or whatever for the thrift store. But anyways, WendyO has to go because I got to do work. Sending you guys love and light. Thank you so much for joining me. I've got a video dropping for you guys at 2 p.m. PST. Bye-bye. Ouch.